All right, good evening, colleagues. Welcome to our sixth session. First of all, I would like to sincerely apologize for this very long delay. This was due to serious network problems on the part of the presenter. Today's topic is methods and approaches in language teaching. It should have been presented by Madam Mary Banda, who is the HOD Namala Secondary School, a holder of Masters in Linguistic Science, and a seasoned teacher and an examiner. Except her network has failed us and has failed her as well. So we have asked the Dr. Aston Monde to present this topic on her behalf. She will be listening along and she'll be available to take questions as well as take note of comments that will come from the audience. Once more, thank you for your patience and welcome to today's program. Without further ado, I'd like to ask Dr. Monde to pick it up. Doctor, please take us through. Dr. Monde, your mic is muted.
Thank you, the host.
Please carry on.
Thank you, the host, and may I just thank your efforts and the people that have been patient with us. Please, we hope to improve as we continue. May I quickly look at the methods, methodology versus approaches. Here, I will talk about the introduction, the approaches, methods, techniques. In introduction, my people, it is believed that documents reflect ideologies, underpinning them, and that educational policies are sometimes characterized by power and control, which may result in discrimination, domination, and contradiction. Now, look at this, the approach, method, and technique. The approach, usually we have the theory, belief, the assumption, and the ideas. But where the method is in our teaching, we mean a way of doing things, the procedure of doing things, the plan or the system in which you are going to employ as you are executing a given lesson. Then the techniques include the strategies and small tricks that will cultivate the learning in our class. If we understand the theories that we read in books on every topic that we are given to teach our children, employ good methods, correct procedures in a very well-modified system, and then we give clear techniques as educators, you will discover that our classes, in every topic that you are going to introduce to our pupils, be it structure, be it composition writing, be it literary terminologies in literature, and any other, a topic that we have in our language, teaching in our country and beyond, you will discover that the output will be very good and our children will be able to do very well as they progress in school. Now, Banda 2019 defines an approach as a set of assumptions, beliefs, and theories, because also where people think it is a method about the nature of the language and teaching, which provide the theoretical foundation for what teachers automatically do with the learners in the classroom. So examples are here. Scaffolding theory. Those who have built houses, you know what it means to scaffold. A scaffold in the architectural realm is those pillars that are made to help short people or people of even normal height, but they cannot reach the top of the building that they are erecting. What they need to do is to make those scaffolds so that they can climb on them and be able to reach above there. So scaffolding theory is very, very important if we want to help our learners reach some level where we want to take them. So scaffolding theory, social constructivist, this is Sandvik and Ballard, 2013, Code and Pedagogical Discourse, Multimodality. Now, there is this one, maturation theory, deductive theory, and inductive theory. These theories that are itemized above, they are very useful in the teaching of language in our schools. Now, CDC on this page states that, CDC 2013 on page 36 states that the teaching of English be eclectic so as to include various approaches such as question and answer, group work, and classroom discussion. The statement, I call it incorrect, also methodologically, in that the listed items that have been classified as approaches are in actual sense the techniques, and it is misleading to label techniques as approaches. I will throw you to read a bit on this part so that we, maybe the next time when you have such a lesson, we should be able to maybe argue for or against. You know, when you put methods as techniques, if you're not careful, you might not reach the intended goal. The approaches are far different from techniques, and we might mislead the children, mislead our pupils if we mix the same. Now the method, according to Banda 2019, defined the method as a level of which a plan of the theory is put into practice, while other people think that the method is the same as an approach. This is what I was alluding to in my first statements. This is a level at which choices are made about which skills should be taught, the content to be taught, and the order of the presentation of the content. Now, example, grammar translation method. We also have a direct method. We also have audiolingual method. Cognitive, this pronunciation, is it cognitive code method? Check the pronunciation. I learned that is cognitive code method, situation method. These are some of the methods that we can employ in the teaching of language in our department. Most of us understand what it means, grammar translation. People, you understand what a direct method is, even Audiolingual. Those who did the primary course, you must understand this better than some of us. Now, communicative language, a teaching method, text-based integrated method, a text-based integrated method, teacher-centered method, learner-centered method, and eclecticism. These are methods from number 1 up to number 10, eclecticism. These are methods that we can employ as we teach a language. Please get back to reading, understand these things. That's the best way that we are going to scaffold our children and give them the correct lessons that they must understand and progress in the language orientations. Now, the eclectic method is a combination of different methods of teaching and learning approaches, okay? The syllabus recommends the use of eclecticism by virtue of using a concurrent use of teaching methods. We need to be eclectic. Let's be, active when we get into that industry. Let's be able to use the, different methods and different learning approaches so that our children can be motivated and be able to follow our lessons so that we make a grade. Now, the inconsistencies are noted in the following areas in the curriculum development document. According to the CDC 2013 on page 4, it is recommended that the senior secondary school English language syllabus is interpreted through 2 general methodologies, which should be used concurrently. That is, communicative approach and text-based integrated approach. You get it? Inconsistencies. I proceed. CDC 2013 page 6, the syllabus further states that the onus is on the teacher. Now, the onus is on the teacher to find different methodologies for effective teaching. This entails that it is the duty of the teacher to select what suits within the context, depending on the prevailing factor, such as availability of material, learner characteristics, topics, and learning and lesson objectives. This is true. When you look at our country, it is we have the rural, the peri-urban, and the urban. A method that can work very well in language teaching, for instance, in Luano, in Kazungula, in Namwala, in Choma, in the Copper Belt, in Mchinga, Eastern Province, mention our places. They can't be the same. That's why the onus is on the teacher to find different methodologies, for effective teaching. Look at your situation. Look at, what is available, what material do you have as you attack the topic. This is how we should grow if we are to teach language very well in all of our schools in this country. Now, however, the teaching of English, the eclecticism, that CDC 2013, eclecticism involves the use of a variety of language learning activities, each of which may have different characteristics and objectives. Freeman 2000 has this also to say. The recommendation of 2 methodologies is contradictory to the syllabus dictates of eclecticism. There are a number of other methodologies to use other than what is recommended, with potential to bring about effective learning in class. So, colleagues, look at your situation, look at your location, look at the environment that you have. Be able now to stand high above other people. Create your own methodology that will suit. Because if we follow what this book says, if you follow what that book says, you will discover that it might have some biasness of some kind, and therefore you might fail to have that effective learning in that class. So let's use several methods so that our learning can go smoothly and be able to achieve our objectives as teachers. Now, Banda 2019 defines a strategy as a small trick that is meant to achieve a particular purpose or gain an advantage. At least meant to achieve a particular purpose. We're talking about a strategy. Find a way, a strategy, find a trick that will help you achieve, or advantage, at least you gain some advantage that the learners will follow and be able to understand what you are pushing, what you are teaching in that classroom. Yeah, so examples of techniques, there are class discussions, these. And most of us have become pastors. We are just preaching. There's no, we can't engage the class to discuss, which is not good as teachers of language. We need to use, several techniques to make pupils involved in our discussion, be involved in the lessons that we take in that class. So, for instance, you can use these that are itemized here, a class discussion, small groups, you put them in small groups, they discuss, or they can role play. Literature has a lot of role playing. You can use role playing in literature, even in English language itself. In Zambian language, you can do all these things. You can do debates, you can do pair work, even some repetition of some kind. The report drill, you understand those things. If we are able to employ these techniques in our classes, colleagues, we are going to make a difference. It pains that in some schools, in some of our schools, because we do not understand all these techniques fully, or maybe we are too committed, we have failed the whole term. A school will have no class discussion. A class will not even have a debate, even inter-class debate, even maybe inter-school debate, nothing. You can't even role play and showcase before the whole class about Romeo and Juliet, or maybe Song of Lawino. You can't do anything. If we don't do that, our children will not grow very well in language teaching, in literature, and in language itself, be it Zambian language or English itself. So colleagues, let us use these techniques. We have learned them in school, but it seems we have neglected them. Once we apply these things, you discover that our children will bring out some of the things that we might not even know ourselves. That way, if they discover something, they will own the lesson. Techniques are very good because they help us. These techniques will help us to make children, our pupils, own the lessons. And you'll discover that the output thereof, it will be great, and they'll be passing the test and exams that we give. Now, there's memorization. This might also, I don't know if it's existing in most of our schools. You can give our children some memorization of some kind. They memorize a poem. They can even memorize a chapter or a scene of a play in in our literature. Even our English books, they can these storybooks. You can assign them to memorize so that they can expand their brains. You can give them projects. Go and do this outside class. These are good techniques. Give them question and answer, cooperation, a collaborative work, brainstorming, and meaningful communication. These help. Thus, lack of specification statements or at the beginning of the syllabus, as pages 3, 4, 6, and 15, can be difficult to interpret for novice teachers and other teachers with poor background of teaching methods. So go and read the syllabus on page 3, 4, 6, and 15. There are some statements which are difficult to understand if you are either new in the system, or maybe you had gone on recess, or you had gone to study, and you have had no much contact to the classroom. You might need to read that you see this part 3, 4, 6, and 15. There is something that is difficult to interpret for people who have maybe have not been in contact with children all the time, or might have gone on leave and now they are coming back to work. And it must be argued that the syllabus needs to be clear. Anyway, I'm speaking like I'm presenting a paper at that higher level. I'm not criticizing the syllabus. I'm simply saying there are some gaps that we think if you follow them wrongly, we are not going to do a good thing. So coherent and simple. I'm saying it must be argued that the syllabus needs to be clear, coherent, and simple. The syllabus has the power to mislead teachers who may not exactly understand the recommendation. This is the reason the syllabus needs to be consistent and clear at the beginning of the page to the last. Here, I mean, yes, in most of our schools, people have insisted that we should use religiously our syllabus. Let us read it and understand. Maybe the next paper, if allowed by the host and the management team, I will try to bring out some of the inconsistencies that I think they are present in our document. I proceed. It can be deducted that the syllabus designers did not have adequate knowledge and understand applied linguistics in the sense of language teaching theories and the terminologies. Why am I bringing up to this? You discover that the tabulated work above, when you get to the syllabus, you discover that maybe what is supposed to be a technique is put under some approaches. So we need to read and be able to understand that. Teacher can, whatever is written in the syllabus, a teacher can take whatever is written in the syllabus as gospel truth, considering the symbolic power associated with the designers of the syllabus. Please, that is it. Let me not overemphasize here. The syllabus, if you are not careful, it might mislead us. I think seen as a team to study languages, applied linguistics, there are some areas where we think they are not very straight to make us, to help us as teachers in that class. Now, having spoken very well about the approaches, techniques, and everything about this topic, may I thank you for listening. And there are so many things we can talk, especially about the syllabus and some gaps that we think are not very clear on separating between the approaches, the techniques, and the methods. Or I can say, as teachers of language, let us be very careful. Let us be readers. Let us separate. Let us make sure that our children, we give the children, our pupils, what we want to give them. Let us use correct approaches, correct methods, correct techniques. Let us use group work. Let us give them projects. Let us help them to debate. Let our children discuss. If those things are done correctly, I tell you the truth, yes, the truth, our teaching will be very easy, and our pupils will own the lessons, and that way they'll perform very well. Thank you for listening. May I leave everything now to the host. The host.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation and for rescuing the situation. We can now invite any comments or questions from those that were able to join in the audience. Please, you can just either raise your hand or unmute yourself, then start speaking. We'll be able to spot who is talking. You are free now to do that at this moment. Anyone? Any contribution? Okay. It means Doc has done justice to the topic and people do not have much to say. On that note, I would like to thank you once more for your patience and for following. This presentation is, I think by tomorrow, going to be available on YouTube. We'll share the link. You can advise others to follow the link and just have a feel of this. If there are any questions or comments that you may think of later, we can just forward them via inbox. So thank you. We can call it an evening. God bless you. Next week, God willing, we should be looking at item writing or setting test items in language with Mrs. Rita Chengotembo. And so if there'll be any change, we'll let you know at least in good time. Thank you so much. Good night.
Daddy, what are you talking to? Daddy. Daddy.
Doc, well done.
Yeah, thank you, my leader.